already where the old PNC Bank was.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our January 2023 meeting of the McCandless EAC. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We will be putting off, I guess, approval of the minutes to next month, since I know John's been busy and I know how engaged I've been in the past month, so I get it. Hoping to get back into the swing of things, but we'll review 2 months worth of minutes next month. Project updates and discussion items. I'm gonna go straight to Tony, who has been engaged in a busy guy this month or so. So update on Get Solar.
Yeah, so update, we had a meeting last week. As of last week, we had 9 registered. I checked this morning, we have 16 registered.
Oh, great.
That are interested. So we reached out to about 37 businesses. I think Jack probably hit about 12 or so. And I did some, I don't know if it's cold calling, cold emailing to some local businesses as well off of the tracker there. I think Jack, I think you said Schultz Ford is signed up, is registered.
Yeah, that John begins with an H, Hinkleman or whatever.
Okay.
He signed up when I had him on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. And then did you reach out to Bill Kirk? Because I think I did too.
Yeah, I haven't heard back.
I haven't heard back either. Anyway, yeah, it is Friday, so if you have anyone that you might want to reach out to kind of last minute, feel free to do so. We've been posting on social media as well. So I have a Instagram, Sustainable Topics Instagram, that has about 220 followers. So I've been posting on there. McCandless Township, thank you, John, has been posting as well. Latotomy Center, we've had the Northland Library put some posts up for us. Ross Township just did a post last week. And the Heritage Center, thank you, Abby. And let's see. Oh, and then we had the article in the North Allegheny Journal. I did reach out to Pine Township, Franklin Park, and was it front page?
Matt has it on the front page.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't get ours.
Oh.
Did it come last week?
I
Mine
just
came
saw it.
today.
Oh,
it's
okay.
today.
Ours will come tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, that's good timing. A
Yeah.
few days before. Yeah. Yeah, so if any last minute registrants, then maybe we'll see the paper. But yeah, I reached out. Pine Township and Hampton didn't get back to me, the EAC contacts we had. And then Franklin Park said they didn't have a social media set up. So yeah, it's been quite a bit of work. So I'm pretty excited for after the 13th.
No,
So-
thank you very much. You put a lot of work. I know you and Jack have made a lot of calls and a lot of posts and bugged a lot of people. And
That's right.
so
Yeah,
hopefully.
thank you guys. That was great work.
And getting it in the paper. Did you reach out to those folks or? was
Actually, I
that
think
with John,
yeah, they reached out to John
okay,
and then I just followed up. Yeah. So
okay.
John reached out to me. I followed up. Yeah.
So everyone, hopefully everyone reads it tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah.
And signs up for Friday. So well, that's good. It'll be fresh in their minds.
Yeah.
So I guess our goal is to have 10 applications filled out based on this webinar.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Yeah.
Has anybody submitted applications yet, or does that process even happen until after this?
They can submit any time up to, oh boy, it's in March. I should know that, but
Okay,
there's a deadline in March. FAR Process, which is out of Cheswick,
mhm.
I mean, technically they're not in our area,
No,
but I knew the company owner,
Okay.
so they filled out an application. I have a pretty good feeling that Kitty Academy of Wexford will do so as well. It
Mhm.
sounds like Schultz, maybe, at least it seems pretty interested. So
Okay,
they have it
Especially
already.
when I told him that, if you're on the grid within 2 miles and he's got 3 shops,
Yeah,
Mhm.
you don't have to be connected, but you can meter all 3. So if they have one big solar array at the new EV shop, is that what they called it?
yeah, EV store or something.
Electric vehicle store.
Yeah,
They can take credit for all 3 of their locations.
yeah.
So, no, that's great. A lot of good information. So hopefully they all show up on Friday and fill out those applications and get this rolling. That's great.
Yeah, so it's Friday at Is it 1:00?
1:30.
1:30.
1:30, yeah.
1:30 to
Yeah.
3.
Let me check my calendar. Yeah, so if anyone's interested in joining,
So in the article, it's 1 to 2:30, but I don't know if
Oh.
that's wrong or if you're, I don't know, but the article says 1 to 2:30.
That sounds right.
Showed up on,
yeah, 1 to,
2:30.
okay.
yeah. All right.
Okay. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
that was it for my update. Thanks.
That's great. It's a lot of work there. Deer management update. Ken, is there anything new on numbers?
They harvested, I think, 3 deer in December, but the reason that's so low, a lot of the areas when even when you're archery hunting during quote unquote rifle season, they have to wear orange.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times, a lot of guys just don't want to go out and be sitting in a tree and in orange in McCandless Township when people are going to see them, kind of thing.
Okay.
So January, with a lot of the guys that I know that hunt January, they're much more interested in harvesting does and things like that. So at this point, they've harvested 59. They harvested 18 last year, so we're making a lot of progress, and hopefully they have a good January, and we'll see where things go.
Okay, and I know we've probably asked this before. How long did you think they'll go into the spring
Honey,
hunting? Yeah.
season ends the end of this month.
Oh, okay.
That, they by all the game laws and all that.
Right. And I was surprised it went to January. I was thought it was just. a
That's
fall
why you
thing.
get into that orange issue.
Okay.
Like in North Park, the whitetail hunters have never hunted during rifle season because they don't want to be sitting in North Park in orange.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks. Litter and recycling, Dave.
Yep, litter, we've haven't been picking up any litter, but we've got some work done on, excuse me, some administrative things. Dawn connected us with Nicole Farnan of the Activities Committee.
Okay.
We had talked last month about trying to get them involved in our event
Right.
in the spring. I sent Nicole a lot of information about what we've done in the past and how it's worked, and they met last Thursday, I think, to discuss it as part of their new business. Haven't seen anything back from them. If they can had any ideas or can get involved somehow to try to make it a bigger event in the town. We were sort of aiming at Saturday, April 22 is Earth Day. There's actually a earthday.org site up. They call it the Great Global Cleanup that's happening this Earth Day. And not just in terms of cleanup, but another thing they talk about is planting trees. So I didn't know if we need to plant the Christmas trees sometime, and maybe that can be part of a Earth Day type thing, is planting those trees.
Those trees are designated for Wall Park, and the town was going to plant them.
And the town is going to plant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But there's
Can
also,
volunteers come and
I'm sure
help
they'd love that.
learn how to plant a tree?
That'd be awesome.
Take some pictures.
That'd
you
be
know,
great.
Something like
I'll
that.
talk to Jeff.
Cool.
Yeah, would they be willing to do that on a Saturday?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they could dig the holes. I don't know. Well, I'll just talk to Jeff, see what date did you want to do that? Saturday?
It doesn't need, sometime, when do you plant a tree? Around in April sometime, I guess, right?
Those are
Doesn't really
Those are
matter,
bald trees, so I mean, you can do that anytime,
right?
Do it now.
as long as they've been kept cold, so to speak.
Well,
But
maybe,
Dave, if the Christmas trees don't work out, there's other options for coming up with trees. If you want to
oh, okay,
incorporate some tree plantings,
okay,
there's options.
There's been some requests for some trees over here by the UPMC.
Mhm. The
Center.
fitness, yeah, so maybe that might be nice since we'll be, at town hall for the litter event, and then we can take some folks up to the fitness. Maybe we'll look into that. We can chat about that, Dave.
Okay, yep,
At the fitness, that used to have pine trees the whole way along there, along the ball fields and everything. It's just over the years. They grew big and some of them died and things like that. So there was a previous planting there, so that should work out pretty well.
My only concern is if we have the trees too close to the road, the deer will dart out and people won't have an opportunity to. Of course, we can reduce our population that way.
what were you thinking, Donna? A barrier between the road and the fitness center, or the fitness center and in the parking lot, or the?
Well, based on just what Deb Sagan had mentioned, it seemed like they were sort of hoping for some sort of a screen to protect it from the noise and the dirt on the road. So yeah, they
Okay.
were between the road and the fitness center. So we could identify, some trees that would be good for that space. And then we could maybe do some, other plantings in and around the fitness center as well, their space. So I'm just saying, if you want to, we can get you trees if you want to do some plantings.
Yeah. There's also space between the road and the soccer fields there. Some of those
Mhm.
trees, some bushes there, and I'm trying to think whether they're trees have died off over the years, or it's just grass now.
Even to be honest with you, I've sort of wanted to talk to somebody. I've often wondered behind the maintenance building and then down to the creek, there's just sort of a big grassy area. And I didn't know if they needed that area for anything, or if we could do some plantings there.
They-
That's probably unlikely. That's floodplain area.
And when we talked
But-
about,
You
We
can
talked
plant in a
about-
floodplain, but go ahead.
we had talked about that a little bit before the maintenance people used that for, they had different uses for that we
Okay.
could do something with it.
All right.
I'll have that conversation with Jeff. Are you talking on this side of the creek or the other side?
On behind the maintenance building and the courts going up to the stream bank edge,
Okay,
there's
Not-
sort
not
of
on
a
the other
mode
side.
area back there
Okay.
that doesn't
Okay.
appear to be used for anything.
Forget what these, if we said they had something.
I know that was part of a PRP project for somebody, and when you come in with a PRP, pollution reduction plan project, it's hands off. But I don't know if it was intended to be done or whether it was done, but I'll check that out.
So Jack, maybe in terms of the Christmas trees, if you can just let us know when that's scheduled with Jeff, maybe, a few weeks beforehand, we can, I don't know, not advertise it, but maybe the Key Club kids or the Interact kids or somebody like that might want to
Okay,
come
I have to
around.
warn you, those trees are really heavy.
Yeah, I know it's backhoes and that kind of thing. It's not shovels, but I don't
Because
know.
I looked into getting one for our house for Christmas. It was not a good idea.
Oh. Trying to be sustainable or something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Year-round Christmas tree.
Well, you can't get a lot of presents under a tree this big. At least mine wouldn't fit.
Okay, back to the other thing. Another thing we did is created a master litter cleanup assignment spreadsheet so that we're not recreating this thing every time we do a litter cleanup. There's actually about 30 areas that we have that are listed. Only 4 of them are off-road and about 15 of them need police. So that's, we're in McKnight, we're in Babcock, we're in Perry Highway, the Wexford Flats, all these areas are busy. So yeah, we definitely need, the police to be involved with us. Wanted to mention that John, kudos to John, got us into the calendar for April. The town's calendar now has in April has pictures of the litter cleanup. Actually, we got in here, there's a page on litter and the litter cleanup. There's a page on recycling. There's a page on stormwater. So I think the EAC did really well in terms of the calendar. A lot of information in there, of course.
Open it up that one.
We're working with trying to get an anti-littering message on the board at McCandless Crossing. Just today, Kathy Martins and John connected on creating a database of email addresses of people who have picked up litter in the past. So we'll now have a database where we can send out a blast email to remind people and save the dates and thank them and all of that kind of stuff. We're also setting up, Lynn is setting up meetings with Senator Williams and Representative Bencat to kind of connect with them on litter and what the state's doing in terms of legislation and that kind of thing. Jeff, anything else that has been going on the last month? That's what I've been involved in.
Yeah, I don't think so, Dave. I mean, no, what we talked about last meeting, definitely, had good return for us in getting people involved and getting responses, and we'll wait to hear from Nicole. And that's about it. But no, you're
Okay.
You're comprehensive there.
Okay. I think that's all I have. I don't have anything on recycling. I think we're going to put the tips together for this month, so probably have some recycling information in this month's tips. Okay, questions, comments?
I have a quick question. I don't know if anybody knows anything about this or not. The glass recycling container that they have at town hall. When I went maybe a month or so ago, it was so full that you couldn't put anything in it, and people were clearly trying and dropping a lot on the ground. There's a lot of broken glass around it and things like that. Do we know how that gets emptied? Is it on just a regular schedule? Is it on a need schedule? Do they only come when it's full? Does anybody know how that works?
From what I understand, they have a camera on the inside. And so Michael Brothers, who picks it up, is supposed to be monitoring that, picking up when it's too full. I don't know what the turnaround time is for that, but that's how they're doing it. So it's not a regular.
They've definitely emptied it since then, because I went back again and it was, you were able to put stuff into it, but it was so full, when you opened it, stuff was almost falling on top of you. So.
And I was at another town meeting last night and heard the same thing. I think somebody had just tried yesterday.
For the glass or the
for
cardboard?
glass. So I think over the holidays, maybe they're behind. So I didn't bring my stuff over tonight because I was told it was full.
They've been dumping it a lot more frequently than they anticipated.
Well, that's good. I mean, we're doing what we're
Very
supposed to do.
cheery
Mhm.
group.
Yeah, I saw them pick up the dumpster on a Saturday morning when I was over here one time, so I thought that was unusual, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
They can get it.
And Matt, whenever you were just there the last time and it was emptied, was there still a lot of broken glass around? I mean, is that an ongoing issue?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot on the ground. I don't know who is responsible for that, or if there's anything we can do about it to help or anything like that. But yeah, there was quite a bit. It's obvious people are dumping and things are just falling and kind of shattering on the ground. So I don't even know how to suggest preventing that, but it was something that I just wanted to bring up if anybody knew anything. So.
Well, I was going to bring this up under my report for council, but I might as well bring it up. We've had a lot of complaints, more about the cardboard than we have about the glass. Matter of fact, this is the first glass complaint I've heard. But I've talked numerous times with town manager and with Kathy Ropa and others on this topic. And we're talking about maybe getting another dumpster. We're talking about maybe a compactor. We're talking about another location. So everything's on the table right now. If anybody has any good suggestions, we're all ears. We put money in the budget to do things, although the primary, I think, budget amount is for next year to have a recycling center. It's a sticky wicket. Every time you try to do one thing, it affects something else. So right now we're up to twice a week for the cardboard, and it just riles me. We have cardboard there from Amazon with people's names and addresses on it, and I can't get the town to send them nasty letters. I think it's pretty obvious whose litter it is, but if they pull up and it's full, they won't take it back and come back another day. They just decide they're just going to throw it on the ground. We're spending 11 hours a week from our Department of Public Works cleaning up after these people. That's a lot of wasted money. So
Hey, Jack, maybe should there be some messaging on social media about not dumping your stuff if the containers are full? I agree, though, we need more bins if the volume's such that we're having issues.
I believe John's had some messaging out there, and we've asked for some signage. We're going to try to put in a camera and try to intimidate people a little bit, particularly people that don't live in the town that might be coming in. We have a feeling that because we're so close to North Park, we're getting a lot of North Park people, not necessarily residents, because checking with the other municipalities, they don't have near as big as an issue as that we have. So we're certainly aware of the problem, and we're working on it.
Yeah, I think Franklin Park has a camera on theirs because I used to, trespass into Franklin Park to recycle my cardboard back in the day before we started. I know I just said that on camera, but
Well, I don't think.
See in jail.
We're allowed.
illegally recycling and
I don't think they're checking the cameras to make sure you're a resident.
No,
No,
but
no.
I'm saying because I did that,
If you're gonna
there's a
be-
sign.
If you're going to be
There's a
dumping
camera.
on the ground, we would have people that are done, then we would be able to send them a
Sure.
fine. We might have to change our ordinances a little bit, but
Mhm.
I would certainly like to see people that are just dumping on the ground
Yeah.
receive letters.
Understood.
I would imagine a trash compactor would be helpful too. I think you
Yeah,
mentioned that.
we're
Because,
talking about that.
cardboard just takes up so much space if you don't, lay it flat, or no one does that, right? Crushes the cardboard, or especially in my house, we have.
Well, the nice thing is we have slots on 2 of the 3, so they have to crush it to get it in the slot.
Oh, got it, yeah.
Either that, or they can be really industrious and try to lift it and throw the box in it. I think it's easier to crush the box.
Yeah, I was there, I don't know, Saturday or Sunday, and there was a guy on top of the one dumpster,
Jumping on.
jumping up and down on it to try to make some room. And that's just because people don't, break down the cardboard. So you put a box in there and
It takes up after.
Yeah, right.
you've got a lot of wasted space.
People, it's disheartening.
Well, they go through the trouble to bring the box. You
Yeah.
Just take an extra.
How hard is it to smash a
Take it
box?
down. Yeah.
Just stand in and push it with your foot.
Mhm.
I don't know. Anybody have any ideas? We're all ears.
So that is DPW, that all that stuff that's their job. It's not waste management's job to.
Well, it's waste management will pick up the bin and move the bin, but they're not going to pick up anything that's on the ground.
Right,
Our employees are doing that.
okay, all right.
The signs would be helpful, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna do some new signage.
I mean, are there fines in the books that at least the signs could say, even if you don't want?
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that
We don't
path,
enforce, Tony.
especially on camera. But that was a good question.
Well, the sign says $50 fine doesn't mean you necessarily have to enforce it. I think a little scare tactic.
Yeah,
maybe.
There's signs all over, $300 for littering, and
Yeah.
how many littering tickets are written?
Yeah, I was gonna say, anybody who's just bringing cardboard and leaving it on the ground there because it's full, I don't think is gonna take that very seriously or care. I also know that there was a recycling bin at the apartment I used to live at that had written above where you would put the cardboard in, no pizza boxes. And I would just watch people just throw pizza boxes into the, people don't read. So,
Maybe we should require them to have a permit. They have to walk in the police station and get a certificate to dump. And then you can unlock it. Maybe the police have a buzzer and open it.
Sure, they'd love that.
yeah, that'd
I
be a
don't-
lot of extra work for them, I think.
Thinking out of the box.
I think the camera's a good idea.
I think so too. But, okay, yeah, good discussion on litter and recycling. Anything else, Dave?
No.
Okay, no, thanks for reaching out to Activities Committee, and it sounds like you've got a lot of kind of new angles going with it. Thanks. Okay, Jack, trail updates.
Okay, I have a map over there. Unfortunately,
Okay.
Jeff, Matt, and Don can't see it, but it shows the entire town. And a number of folks have walked this trail, Don and Judy, and I think Dave, and did you walk it, Dave, with
No.
us? Okay, Tony did. And Ken, he's been there, I don't know, a dozen times. And effectively, we'll be able to go from the very bottom of our town to the very top of our town. And to do it the right way, to do it with the DEP and down where the town wanted to put it right down the center of the valley requires a lot of permitting and a couple, three bridges and a lot of money. With the aid of Dawn working with the Northern Area EAC and North Park, she can get us the equipment, and we're hope to work with the Activities Committee to get a Friends of Wall Park together. And we're just going to show up, and we're going to cut one into the side of the hill, which requires no permitting or anything. And town manager's on board with that, and council is. So we're just going to build it, but I don't know what the timing is on that yet, Don. I don't know if we have to wait until the freeze is done.
It's better to do it now. It gets tougher to do in the spring when it's muddy.
Okay, so
Yeah, we just don't have the tools yet. So as soon as
Yeah.
that's done.
and the Activities Committee's going to have to get their act together to try to get us the volunteers. And there's a number of volunteer organizations. There's people that bike. I think Jeff, you're associated with one of them, correct?
Absolutely. You ought to be involved.
So there's I don't think it's an unsurmountable task to be able to get some volunteers out there on a regular basis and just get this thing done. So I'm going on Saturday. Are you going, Dawn, on Saturday to North Park?
It's up in the air to find out when I'm doing water testing. If I'm not doing water testing, I'll go Saturday.
Saturday, they have the North area. Yeah, Arboretum, and they're gonna be building and repairing trails and cutting trees back. So I'm gonna go get my knowledge from that, and I'm also gonna try to get their waiver form that everybody has to sign. If you could get me a copy of the one we use for the environmental pickup,
I can email that. tonight.
and then I'll run them both by our town attorney to make sure that we have the right documents to sign when people show up to work. And I don't think it's too complicated. It's just elbow grease.
Right, and what tools, are you talking like a Matic?
No, it's
shovel?
called a
There's a
McLeod.
couple different tools. There's a McLeod, a Matic.
McLeod, yeah, it's about this size. It's a hoe. Okay,
Mhm.
and it has a big V in it. And you walk into the hillside and you go in and you pull the dirt over. According to the park rangers, the dirt is millions of years old, so it's solid. You don't have to worry about it. So you just cut in and pull. And would you say a Matic, and what else do you need?
McLeod.
Well, he called it a McLeod.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a ranger. He can call it anything he wants. Anyhow, it's a neat tool. McLeod.
All right,
Not gonna mention it was marked.
Oh, yeah, I thought everybody knew that. Ken did go through, you said with
Mark Ironman,
Mark, it wasn't Chuck.
no, Mark
Okay,
Ironman.
Mark Ironman. And they went through and marked the trail. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to go over it with Jeff from our Public Works, but I want his buy-in to the location as well, particularly as it relates to where the trail would start or end up at Highland and Harmony,
Mhm.
because he's got certain ideas in his head how he wants that dump site used. So I wouldn't want to have to build a trail twice. So I want to make sure it terminates where he thinks it's best.
Well, when we started the trails at the end of that dead end street.
Right.
And just went down from there. So that shouldn't affect the dump site at all.
Well, I just want to know where he wants it to enter. That's all. At least give him the courtesy of saying yes or no.
Well, that sounds
So
great.
thanks for doing that.
Is there a digital version of that map anywhere? That could be
Yeah.
emailed out?
Yes and no.
Is it just hand drawn?
Yes, there's a
or-
digital version. I just don't know where it's at.
It's also, the Allegheny County has the
Take a
entire
picture of the
county
corner if you want.
on a GIS system. And it'll show you both topographic lines and property lines.
I think he gave.
can
me
email
one of
that.
these.
Out to you if you want to look at that. But that'll give you, when you have that, that tells you who owns the land and the borders of it and
Yeah.
the slope and all of that stuff.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Actually, Matt, I do have a copy and the only problem is it's what was envisioned and it's different than what we're going to implement.
Yeah.
Is this,
So-
is the thing that Tony's taking a picture of what we're implementing?
Yes, well. I
Well,
guess-
yeah, that map has a lot of Jack's lines in terms
Scribbles on
of,
it, yeah.
Okay,
trail here, don't put it here, across the street, sidewalk, that kind of thing. So
gotcha.
all the way
That-
from Wall Park up to,
You know where
Fine.
Sloop and Rochester Road are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's right down the street from me.
Yeah, that's the southernmost terminus and it's going to come all the way up to Highland and Harmony. And that's what we're talking about building. And then that just connects all the way up to Pine Township eventually.
How does it get from that dump site over to, because it goes over to Potter Park, right?
Right, it goes straight up Harmony Road. Right past the grocery store there. I always forget the name. Coons.
Coons. Oh, okay. So just like along the side of the road type of a thing.
Yeah.
Like there's no specific pathway there other than just
No,
side
just
of
the road.
Okay, got it.
Years
That
from
makes sense.
now, other people can fight the battle to put in sidewalks and everything. Right now, I'm just excited that there's a straight path.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got you.
And then it goes straight over to a unimproved road at the backside of Ingomar and cuts down over the hill, and Potter Park is on the left. And that goes straight down to Pine Creek Road. We're gonna need a crossing there. And so that's state road there. So we have one county road up north at Highland, off Highland. We're gonna need the county and then we need the state down at Pine Creek. And there's the only two crossings we're gonna need. And at that second crossing, it takes you up through Oak Ridge, right past Don's house. And it takes you to a couple more roads that don't have sidewalks on it, but they're, 25-mile-an-hour roads. So they're, walkable certainly. That'll shoot you out to 19, right below the Schultz Lincoln dealership and the Firestone. And the town's approved a sidewalk that'll connect down to that corner. So it'll be safe passage. And then you can walk all the way to Zillion Opal. You can walk up to where Brook Tree is and go left, and that's the Admiral Perry trail system. And it also takes you to the trailhead for Rachel Carson, and you can go right across the street down past the little swimming place. And there's a nice trailhead down there for parking for Rachel Carson, and that takes you into the North Park area. So it gets you quite a bit for next to nothing. And it also at the bottom of Pine Creek and Oak Ridge, our neighborhood has built a trail and it takes you to Vestal Park. And from Vestal Park, is an intersection across Route 19, several, so you can safely pass across there. And then you can sidewalk down to where, Target and all those shops are. And you could walk through the parking lot there. And at the very end, they used to have a PNC Bank. They're going to put in a Starbucks now. And we've asked Starbucks when they put it in to please put in a sidewalk to connect down to 19, because there's a lot of people that live up in Hickory Hills that cut across there to go to the grocery store or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so they'll have safe passage. And there's a little trail cut in the side. We're going to have to work with the town to do something there. And then there's a section where where the old theater was, where they just have to walk through the old theater parking lot. And then all that, the Port Authority and the new, I hate to call it old people's home, retirement home,
Assisted
because
living.
I'm an old people. Goes past the retirement home, and the sidewalk's there, you make a left, and it's McCandless Road, or whatever we call that, right out here. What do we call it? McCandless Road?
Canvas Lane.
McCandless Lane. There's only one section that isn't completed there, and that happens to be owned by the town, so we can fix that up. So we'll have a lot of walkability by summer, I hope.
Nice. Yeah, you just gave my wife a late Christmas present, telling me there's going to be a Starbucks there. By the way, she's going to be very excited. She's been saying there should be one there for years.
Well, tell her specifically for her, and we're going to name it after her.
I'm going to hold you to that, Jack.
So, incidentally, it's going to be a pre-order Starbucks. They don't want it to be a regular drive-through Starbucks. They want you to pre-order and then come get it. There's going to be very limited seating. And I think most of the seating is going to be outside.
I mean, based on the traffic getting in and out of that PNC, that's probably a good thing, because that thing, it was a real pain to get in and out of. So
Yeah, well, they're experts on building these things, so let's hope it's not like it is up in the flats.
Jack, is your mapping, does that go home with you, or does that stay at the municipal building?
That's mine, but I
Okay.
have a map of what the town envisioned. And if I can figure out how to go online and put my comments or something on, I will, or I could just explain it to you over the phone.
Yeah, and I'll see it. If you could bring it to next EAC in February, I'll take a look at it then. If I don't see it before that.
Hopefully we'll get some boots on you and haul you out and show you.
I'd love that. I would love that. I'm waiting for that call.
Did I mention I took one of the trail guys around? I talked to him one day. He helps get trail builds. What's his name, Don? I'm at a loss right now.
Who, what? What trail guy?
Yeah. What's the guy from the trails? I thought you hooked me up with him.
You mean
Anyhow,
from Allegheny County Park?
no, not Allegheny Trails. You
mean the land trust guy?
Yeah,
Roy something.
no, not Roy, the other guy. Regardless, this guy's really big into Allegheny County having trails. And we're talking trails. We're talking all the way down the Ohio River and across and hooking up with his counterpart over there. So I took him, we spent a day talking, and we spent like 2 hours, another meeting, and I drove him around and showed him the vision for trails. And so he's all on board to help us any way he can, if I can only think of his name. But so I'm more than willing to take anybody for a ride anytime you want.
Can I ask you a
I'm
question?
definitely interested in checking it out as well. So
Is
let me
it
know.
Robert Edward? Is that the guy?
No, I'll tell you a second.
Edward Engler.
Engler, yeah, Engler.
There you go,
Yeah.
sorry.
Super nice guy, super knowledgeable, and super connected, and he'll help us any way possible. They just got a big grant up at Commodore Perry to connect 3 communities, and they didn't even, I don't know why they never talked to us, because we fit right into that perfectly now.
So up on the Wexford Flats, I think it's at the end of Brookside down, there's a sign there
Rachel Carson Trail.
for a trail.
Right.
Yeah,
There's a trail right there.
there's a little bridge.
So are we connecting into that or?
Well, yeah, we can, well, we
You
could,
can, but.
well,
you're
we're
talking-
taking the sidewalk straight up
Right,
and that trail crosses right there at the highway. So you can make a left and go through Brook Tree to that trailhead and
Right.
walk down, or you can go right. And Rachel Carson goes down over the hill over into North Park and
Mhm.
up into,
oh, it goes that way.
yeah.
Yeah, like the
Okay.
back of the
Both
McKinney
ways.
Soccer
He's redoing
Complex
that
there,
part.
behind Whole Foods, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But the
Uh,
interesting part is that that's also the Commodore Perry Trail that takes you up into Marshall and Pine and does that take you all the way up into Zillionople?
Not sure. I would imagine it does.
Yeah, I think it does. Because I think they were
Hmm.
building some trails up there on the other side of the Harmony Inn.
Mhm.
Anyhow. It's coming
Should get you
together.
to Erie eventually.
Yeah,
So who hasn't seen, I haven't seen Wall Park. Matt hasn't seen Wall Park.
Jeff.
Jeff, have you seen Wall Park?
Jeff, you're on mute.
You're
Yeah,
muted.
no, I was panicking there. No, I have not. And I
Okay.
need to.
So maybe when, I mean, there's no snow on the ground, maybe sometime before in the next 2 weeks or so, if it continues to be not
I'll be
snowy.
happy to meet you this Saturday if anybody wants to go for a ride. I'll do it multiple times. I don't care.
Well, I'm in DC this Saturday and you're down at North Park, aren't you, Jack?
At 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in DC this Saturday.
How about
I'm-
the following weekend, the 21st, 22nd? You guys free then?
I am.
Should be.
Depending on time, yes.
Do you want to
Right.
maybe tentatively plan for the 21st? Like 10
Ballpark.
tentatively?
Yeah, that should work for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
At 10 AM, not PM.
Be more interesting.
Yeah, we're not going drinking, Jack. We're going.
10 PM I will
Really?
not be available.
Those kids have a pretty nice
Yeah.
party center
I
down
know,
there.
no.
You could have a fireplace, outdoor fire.
Tree fell on it.
Yeah, you guys don't know, but there's like a whole party central set up deep inside Wall Park from clearly from teenagers.
I mean, I might know.
Oh, do you?
I did grow up here, you know.
A tree fell on it. There's no room for anything. there
Oh,
now.
no, took down the roof.
Ugh.
Hey, Jack, to answer your question, I just looked it up. The proposed trail is going to go all the way up into Zealy through the community park and then further north, actually. The map ends, so yeah.
Well, they just got a $285,000 grant. And I
Yeah,
also
proposed
found out the key to getting grants. Trail grants, it's to not ask for trail grants. Now, when you're working with multiple communities, you got a higher probability than if you're a community. But we had applied for grants for Wall Park multiple times and been denied. And I've talked to some people and some people on the inside, and they said, don't apply for trail money. What you do is you have a trail and then you apply for park improvement money, and you've got a higher probability of receiving funds. So by having a trail, and then we also need a park and recreation strategy so that we can present that, and we'll have a higher probability of getting land trust money.
The Wolf Park has a lot of opportunities, the main trail up, basically up through the middle. And then there's the trails that can go around the outside edge. There's some really nice areas that would be very useful for nature lovers kind of thing. It's kind of away from everything and it's a nice area.
There's some really beautiful vantage points.
Tony, thank you for sending that image. I can see it now, and that's basically what I was picturing, but it's much easier to see it as well.
Yeah, hopefully the image turned out okay. Yeah.
It did. It's great. It's even like I was even able to zoom in, and it's very clear. So
what was, I think I missed it earlier. Did we have a date set up for actual trail building or volunteer
It's
days?
coming. We got to figure out where we're getting the tolls first. We have somebody working on that.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
But it'll be sometime in the spring is what we're thinking.
Either late winter, or early spring.
Got it. Okay.
We want to get it before it's too sloppy out.
I guess the ground can't be frozen. Or do you want it
It's not gonna-
frozen?
It's not gonna get frozen, but you don't want to do it when it's all wet and
No,
and
not trying to
sloppy.
get that.
Is that? Do you build a trail in one day or is it several,
Oh,
several days?
yeah,
It's gonna be many work days.
it depends on how many people show up.
So could we open this up to the high school kids also?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not,
But I mean, I think we're gonna have to have designated work days. It can't just be like, hey, high school kids, like, we want you to go build this, you know what I mean? We have to schedule events to invite them to, but yes.
He just stayed like a his guy. So like that.
The mystery speaker.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a speaker in the background.
somebody has a speaker on? In the background?
Sorry, it's me, it's my house.
Okay,
There's basketball coaching happening in the other room. I apologize. There's a game about to start at 9.
Okay, anything else with the trails?
Nope.
Great, lot going on. Once again, that's something I think EAC's been talking about for years and years and years, and this is the year it's finally moving
Make it
ahead.
happen.
Thank
You know, that might be an opportunity for you for an area of cleanup too. Because there's, every time I come out of there, Ken and I are carrying.
bags of stuff. Yeah.
In that section between the gate and the parking area,
Mhm.
Oh, I've
that's
picked up
that's
that
got,
before.
that's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, I've picked up there before.
And you know, Vestal Ball Field is still a mess. I know the group association said they were going to deal with it, but I don't know that they ever did. So just keep it in mind. And if we have a group of younger folks looking for an area for a cleanup, Vestal Ball Field's always a great option for them.
I'm meeting with them, so I will bring that up again. Thank you for,
Don, is that the hillside or the, we had talked about the wetland area, the flat area, right?
Yeah, so you come down off the wooden bridge and you're walking on the gravel sidewalk. And as you go up, there's a gravel sidewalk to the left that takes you to the back ball fields. And all along there, intermingled in the brush and down in the wetlands, there's a bunch of trash all the way up, you know, to the ball field and to the hillside. That's where it's the worst. That's the area that bothers me the most. And there's a ton
Okay.
of it. So lots of work for the kids if they're into it.
by the way, we do have money allocated to try to improve the water down there. As well as Wall Park. So we have, I think, $365,000 allocated for improvements to try to make things better. That makes sense.
What do you mean exactly?
Well-
Where's this money from?
The town has it allocated. We have got so much allocated that we got $250,000 through the state, and we're gonna throw in a bunch, and we're gonna work on Wall Park. And that's the baseball fields and what have you. For drainage, we also have some drainage issues at Wall Park and at Vestal. And we have money earmarked to do repairs and remediation or whatever you call it down in both those areas.
Okay. That. Take care of everything with trails and litter. Once again, thank you very much, Jack and Ken for moving that along. That's all I had on the agenda for major project updates. I know things are going on in the background. Not quite ready with reports this month. So I was going to move on to community outreach. Matt, do you have anything new on them things? I know it's been the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm gonna be reaching out to them again now that school's started again. I just recently started a new job, so things have been a little crazy for me, but we'll be reaching out to them about the we're gonna be doing that asynchronous kind of presentation on how to do the catch basin stickers. John emailed me that he found the box of the stuff. There's still quite a bit of it. John, did that include the adhesive for the stickers as well?
Yes, there's an awful lot of adhesive in there.
Oh, good.
Okay, excellent. So we have that. Is that also, I wanted to ask you, is it in a container of any kind that we could give to the teacher that it won't take up like a ton of space in their room? Or is it I mean, I have no idea how to even.
It's almost like an oversized banker's box, so not very big at all.
Okay. So hopefully we can get that to them and they can kind of have it. We can do the presentation about how this is done, and then they will be able to kind of schedule times, and it's knowing where to go. That's the biggest stumbling block that we have right now, I think. And I know that there was some talk about having them try to go out and figure that out, but we were also going to get I think a list at one point of the roads that had been repaved in the past couple of years. So if we can still get that, and then we'll schedule a time probably in February to try to do the presentation. I don't know if it'll be like during their meeting and then they'll record it, or if we just want to record it at some other time. I'm not the one who's doing the presentation, so I'm going to leave that up to those who are. If you want to record it and then we'll just give it to them, that's totally fine. If you want to try to do it during one of their meetings and also record it, we can do that too. But I know it needs to be a recorded thing that they can show to kids that aren't available at a particular time, things like that. So,
and I guess, Dawn, you and I had talked about doing that. So
Yeah,
What-
and it to me, it makes sense to just go ahead and do a recording, because don't we need to be at a street catch basin thingy to be showing them how to apply the sticker, or no?
yeah,
I mean-
that certainly would help.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably
so let's get
best.
out. We'll just make a little video and
Okay, that'd be great. And then Don, I think it's up to you too. If you want to add additional information about why this is important, why we're doing this, you could just do that as a sitting in front of, you just turn on Zoom, hit record, and
like a
save that
voiceover.
file if you want to do that. I mean, and then we can put those two together.
yep.
I can edit them together if you like, or we can send them as two separate files, whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, but I'll be getting back in touch with them just to make sure. And then I'll also bring up I'll just, not with any details, but talk to them about the idea of the fact that we're going to be cutting this trail, and start to put that on their radar as well, and see if there are students who are interested in taking part. Hopefully we can get in touch with, there was another teacher that I had contact with at the beginning of the year who said that she was overwhelmed by the beginning of the year. I'm going to try to get in touch with her again as well. And we might even have another pool of students to pull from. But I'll be reaching out probably, I would say next week, before February's meeting for sure.
Okay, when is their February meeting? You may have given that to me.
I think I have that date. Let me look for it while you're doing the other
Okay.
things here, and I will let you know.
Okay, because Dawn, we'll need to get together and talk about that. I'm out of town on a couple of ski trips between now and then, so we
It's
probably
tough.
need to put that together sooner than later.
Yeah,
Can't see it right here.
As far as getting the lists, who is responsible? Do you need me to reach out to Jeff, or who's the best person to do that? I guess the lists of the paved roads, or I guess.
John,
We-
didn't you post something on social media this
I
summer?
thought that's
Wasn't
what you
there a list
said.
of roads?
Yeah, I mean, I could look
Paving
up the past
progress.
couple years of road paved.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was posted on our social media. I remember seeing that.
And a lot of times it shows up in the calendar. It has in the past.
Yeah,
It
there's a
normally
list that
shows up
shows
somewhere.
everybody. Yeah,
Okay,
maybe it's in the town crier, I think,
maybe that's it. Okay.
because it wasn't in the calendar. I read that.
Well, Jeff would have a list of the streets that were actually paved as opposed to the streets that were planned to
On the
be paved.
program, yeah.
Do they need gloves for this, for the adhesive?
Gloves came in the kit I used when I went out. It's hard to work with that adhesive and latex gloves that don't fit very well. So that may be something we have to look at what you've got in the box, John. Because I think what I had they were rubber gloves, but they didn't fit real well. So once that adhesive gets on one spot, you're just you're just sticking to everything. I ended up just taking the gloves off and washing my hands real. Better if you take a rag or something, and because it's really hard to hold on to this disc and put the stuff on it without at some point, because then when you press it down, it comes out the sides, and or I'm just messy.
We have gloves from the litter. We have vests from the litter. If they want to put a vest on, all that stuff's in my garage. I
Yeah.
never brought it back. So
What's the disc say?
I don't even
Like
remember.
drains the waterway, like picture of a
Yeah,
fish.
a fish, yeah. What I have noticed in my neighborhood is after, 'cause I think it's been 3 years since I put mine down, they're real cloudy. You can't see them anymore. Whether they're.
They
scraped
use
up by
metal ones
clouds
in
or-
Pine Township,
These are
and
a
they're,
plastic.
they go in and there's like a, it's a sandwich and there's a screw
And
and it's
Yeah.
more permanent.
now these are, they're all still on, at least I check every now and then when I'm walking my neighborhood, because that's where I put a few of them down, and they're still there.
That's
But
amazing.
they're
That's good.
hard to see. They've gotten scuffed up, and the plastic layer on the top
Yeah.
is scuffed, and you really can't
some of them,
read it anymore.
I took some pictures over by Outback Steakhouse and whatever that Arcadia,
Yeah,
and some of the stickers have fallen off.
but they were there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long, really. I'll keep an eye out, make sure they don't look bad. But now they just, the way they're scuffed, they just kind of blend in with the gray
Yeah.
asphalt. They don't really stand out.
I always thought we got credit for that, MS4 credit for that is.
Yeah, we can get credit for that, just
Right, so
Okay.
it's,
participation.
I mean, it's,
Do we get a trophy?
Not quite, but this is actually one of the hardest ones to fulfill. Education's easy, participation's a little bit harder.
Okay,
I'm sure there's a bunch of the ones that fell off in some waterway somewhere floating down.
I wasn't gonna say that, Matt.
So those meetings, there's February 14th. So Valentine's Day is will be the next one. They just had one yesterday, apparently. I just looked back at the dates. And then March 14th will be the one after that. So I don't know that we have to do it by February 14th. I don't even know that the kids will start going out until it gets a little bit warmer. So, if it can be by March 14th at the latest, I think we're still good. And again, I don't even know that it has to be before a meeting. It might be that we can give these things to the teacher and she can then get the information out, especially because they're recorded. So,
Mhm.
It may be that if we shoot for February 14th, if that's doable for you, great. And then if it happens to get pushed a little bit, okay, so be it. We have it for March.
Okay. Because I'm definitely out of town on the 14th, but obviously this is something like you said, we're not presenting at a meeting, so.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
further.
And
Yeah.
I can try to if we can get the gloves and vests to, I guess, I mean, John, I'm assuming this stuff is at town hall, right?
Yeah.
So if we can get the vests and gloves there as well, I can come and pick those up at some point and then get them over to the school too. I don't mind taking
Well,
charge of that.
Actually, do you have them now, John? Because I could,
Yeah,
because Dawn and I will need the supplies to do our video. So
true.
I'd be happy to go ahead and take that now, if get that off your hands, and then Dawn and I will have what we need to put a video together.
Judy, do you want to maybe tentatively plan for the 21st, the same day we're doing the walk? Maybe just.
I am skiing that day. I'm available the 22nd, but I will.
Okay, let's tentatively plan the 22nd if you don't mind. I just
Sure.
need.
You can come ski the trail with us. Probably be all right.
I'm not very good at cross country, and it's just mud right now. Okay. Okay, no, that sounds great. We'll make that happen. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Next up, I put on their speaker series topics just because at some point, we need to start talking about that again. Tony, I don't even want to touch that with you right now. You're in the middle of Get Solar, and I know that's where all of your efforts going. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So we start thinking if there's some topics. I know at one point you had a whole list. I need to go back and pull that list.
I do
and,
too, yeah. For what it's worth, Greg Winks is one of the regional managers for Infinity, was the one who did the solar talk in May.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't want to dominate everything with solar, but he did say he was interested in doing some sort of community outreach, and I told him about the speaker series. So
Okay.
he does more commercial size solar, and I
Mhm.
said, well, what are you interested in? And it sounds like he's interested in sort of showing people as well as you can in a speaking environment,
Mhm.
how the installation process works. So kind of
Okay.
walking them through the steps and stuff.
Okay.
So he said he wanted to make it interactive. I don't know exactly what that means, but that might be a good possibility. Again, I don't want to I don't want to dominate solar, on all the speaker series, but
Well, but at the same time, we've kind of got a theme running now. and
Yeah.
We're trying to get
Right.
everybody's attention. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Infinity would sponsor it or if he would just show up and talk or whatever. So I'm not sure how that
Okay.
would play out, but he did reach out to me, said he was interested. And so
Okay.
I figured I'd pass that along. We could talk more.
Sounds
Um,
good. I just wanted to, get myself thinking about it again and, see if you had something kind of teed up that we could start thinking
Yeah.
about. So,
And like I said, there's a number of professors at Pitt. I'd have to reach out to a few to see if they
Right.
were willing and had time, but yeah, we do have a number of, I was trying to think of if there was some sort of, it seemed like history / anthropology / regional information, was interesting at the Heritage Center.
Right,
So
right.
maybe we want to do a little brainstorming and we can come up with some cool topics. I could see if we have some expert at Pitt or something.
Okay, that'd be
Um,
great.
The other thing I was thinking, so I was reading, I guess it was in December, I was reading the article, Shell Cracker Plant's up and running.
Mhm.
And it's surpassed its yearly allotment for VOC emissions already. 2 months in a row, so October and November. And I didn't know this, I did do a little searching, but their VOC permitting is the highest, it's already the highest in the state. So it's surpassing the highest permitting allotment
Mhm.
already. So again, the plant's starting up, so maybe there's some commissioning, startup type things, but as we know, VOCs aren't pretty, especially in large quantities. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of VOCs are, there's a bunch of different components that go into volatile organic compounds. So but many of them are thought to be at the very least cancerous, and some are known to be. So my only thought was, if you look at the map, the cracker plant, we're kind of downwind, right? We're almost due east, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unless the wind goes along the Ohio Valley, I'm not sure. So I don't know the prevailing winds, but I think they typically come from, sort of
On the west.
southwest
east,
to
yeah.
east. So I don't know,
Mhm.
but I thought maybe that'd be
Southwest.
something of
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
There's a I know for one of my classes, but it's called Purple Air. It's kind of the citizen science type thing. You can purchase a monitor and put it on your house. So you can actually look, it's pretty neat if you ever want to look up Purple Air, but they have a map and it updates continuously or every 10 minutes or so. And it's a bunch of people that have these monitors around their house and things like that. And if you look, I actually just looked at it. If you look at the VOCs around that area, they're very high. So near the plant. In our area, we don't really have any, it doesn't look like we have any monitors. But
Okay.
this might be an interesting project. The monitors are about $300 or something, but maybe the township wants to put, they have the outdoor monitors. Maybe we want to put one on the township and kind of.
Oh, ask
show-
that question.
Yeah, so it's might be an interesting thing, but yeah, there's not a lot in this area. There's a lot downtown. There's a lot sort of further along the Mon, you can imagine, with all the industry.
Right. And I guess we
Um,
think we're kind of away from all that industry.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay.
Well, I just Googled the distance. I didn't realize the distance. We're only 18 miles from that plant, right? From that cracker plant. So
Close the crow fly.
Hey, Tony, you might want to reach out to the Cranberry EAC does air monitoring in collaboration with CMU. You might want to talk to, I don't know, I forget the guy's name on the EAC there that that heads that up, but I'll find the name for you, but you might want to reach out to him as far as, you know, maybe we could get one of those monitors without paying $300 or for a cheaper
Yeah.
price or something if we collaborate with through the same program they're doing.
Well, I know Matt Mahalik is the executive director for the Breathe collaboration. And so they do some monitoring. I don't know if there's grants or something through their organization, but he's on the school board for Richland Township, Pine Township. And then I know him because he was a adjunct professor at Pitt. So he's actually coming and giving a talk in my class about, and this is the reason I'm kind of coming full circle here. He's coming and give a really interesting, engaging talk on air pollution in the region in my class.
Okay.
So maybe it's a possibility, you know. I don't know if you know, I don't know if air pollution is a touch point. I know we were trying to stay away from certain touch points of stormwater at times. So
I think it just
yeah.
depends. We don't want to muddy up anything the town kind of has going on.
Yeah.
Or
No.
water muddy up.
Yeah. So if there's any air pollution things we need to know about, maybe we discuss that first. But anyway, he's a dynamic speaker and he's pretty interesting. I would imagine he'd be.
I think air is pretty important to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think air quality,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not, you know, as we get towards the summer, you
Oh,
know, there's
yeah.
air quality.
Well, we've had air
reports.
quality days just over the holidays. I
Yeah.
think we had a day or two, which surprised me. I'm not used to that in the winter time.
Yeah, please check out Purple Air. If you just Google Purple Air map and you can there's a whole bunch of different, you can sort by, you know, VOCs is one of them, but you know, particulate matter and all these other different types
It's not
of.
going to be depressed.
I hope not. No. But in fact, there's not a whole lot of monitors in our region, which I thought was interesting. I don't know what the reasoning there is, but
Okay.
yeah. So I know. I think either, you know, Matt Mahalik, maybe you know, air pollution. Greg Winks would be more commercial solar, sort of
Okay.
giving a lowdown of how the installation process works. But those are some possibilities. Yeah.
No, that sounds great. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, and does anyone have any other community outreach this morning? I know, Dave, I had promised you I would reach out to some North Hills EACs and see if they have Earth Day
Yeah.
type events. I have not gotten to that point yet. And that kind of wraps into miscellaneous A, getting back in touch with North Hills EACs. I know we had talked about spring. It's so much easier to meet when the weather's nice. We can meet outside. So that's on my radar. I haven't gotten to that yet. Next item, I guess we had been talking about a student member. And sorry, Matt, I threw you on there too. I think it sounds like the next step to do that really is just doing a project form and getting buy-in from town council. I guess once we really have a plan for how this would work. I haven't thought much about it since we discussed it a meeting or two ago. So I'm not sure, if, you know, that's something, Matt, we can start thinking about with your student connections. But we'd have to have an application process and.
Is that
And I-
something you want to do maybe for starting next
Oh,
year?
maybe
'Cause you're
next
gonna-
year. No, that's a good point, but we need to go ahead and have a plan, hopefully this spring, so that we'd have to advertise probably over the
So that we're
summer.
ready to do it.
So
next
ready
year.
to go.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's there, it's upcoming. We'll kind of table that until we get a little closer.
The students that were involved in the Winterfest, were they candidates or
Well, I know
interested, or I didn't get
There-
a chance to really.
there was one, and I'm sorry, don't remember the girl's name that actually was talking to Brian
Mhm.
about the open position on town council for the
Okay.
student member.
All right.
So I don't know if that ever happened.
I believe that, well, he told me he talked to her. I don't know if they had a follow-up conversation, but
Right.
I meant to ask him. We talked about it, but not recently.
Yeah, because I know they exchanged emails and information, and I'm not sure where it went from there, but yeah, that one student was interested. So we just kind of have to touch base with that program and model our program on what the
Well,
town does.
I can tell you the conversations he thought it would be, we could put them together. And
Oh,
make,
okay.
make
Oh,
us one of that student's responsibility. Because they really don't have anything to do. So
so using the town council student liaison.
as the EAC on the EAC.
Does that mean they have to go to 2 meetings? Or 2
I would hate to
separate-
make them come to meetings, but maybe letting them have projects that they work on.
Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily have to come to a meeting.
I
Well,
hate meetings.
I think they only have to go to one town meeting a month
Okay.
and we only have one,
Still.
two, but
And then I saw the application, they're encouraged to, will attend the meetings and basically understand how it works, and then they're encouraged, I guess, to write an article. For the town crier or McMail or something, just
John
outlining
can
what
speak to that.
they've done.
It hasn't happened much in the past, but would be really happy if it did happen.
So, yeah, we can think about what exactly we would expect from them. I don't know that I'd so much require a project. We want to kind of start it easy. We want to get people in there that are just interested, maybe want to see what we're doing and get their input and then see where it goes.
See where
Yeah,
they're in.
I would say when I brought this up to Jan Ellen, she mentioned that there were students who were interested in things like public policy and local government and things like that. So I think, making them attend meetings, I mean, I get how we wouldn't necessarily want that, but I think that might be part of what they want, right? Is to be involved and to see and to be a part of the process. So, that might be even more valuable than, like, we might be looking at kids who are more interested in that aspect of it than are interested in the environmental aspect of it, or equally split type of a thing, right? So something to consider there too.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be a great experience for a student.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's where I thought they wanted to see how government worked.
Right, right. And it's only a 1-year commitment, so. Okay, no, I think it's back on my radar for. I guess later in the spring. Next up, February, McMail tips recycling. Dave has offered to do a recycling related email McMail tip.
John, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Is there any data on how much we recycle and are we doing good or bad or any comparison to other?
Yeah, ton of numbers.
Can you throw some numbers to me sometime?
Yeah, sure.
I know I think I asked you about glass.
We don't have
Couple-
that yet, but we
Couple,
would. Presumably we'd be getting that sometime this spring
oh, okay.
for 2022.
One of the McMails had it in the past, because I
Yeah.
remember we were one of the highest rated in the state for
In the McMails?
in recycling.
Oh,
It was,
and-
but I'm pretty sure it was in McMail, so you could maybe,
Yeah, we could dig back and see what
Yeah,
we put out there in the past.
it's in the last year.
I wonder if waste management would be able to.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
compare it
where-
to different municipalities, yeah.
As I recall, that's where the statistics came.
Might have to reach out to them now.
And do you think the more we recycle, does that keep our rates down or?
Not necessarily, but the more we recycle, the more money the town gets,
the
because
more-
there's a DEP grant.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why we have glass and that's why we have cardboard dumpsters out here
Less is gonna weigh.
because it counts towards that.
towards our credits.
Yeah.
Well, it also reduces the refuse, right? Does that save the township money or no?
Probably not in this contract, but it could down the road, I'm guessing.
I have a rental house in Westview. And the waste management bills in Westview went up from like $63 a quarter to $91.50 a quarter.
wow.
People are
50% increase.
screaming about it.
Did their services change or no?
And I was just wondering if it was because maybe they're not recycling as much or they just,
Other places, the North Hills are dealing with that right now with waste management.
Hmm.
So.
I think a lot of that's fuel. You know,
Right, yeah.
those
Yeah,
trucks
yeah.
don't run on solar.
And our contract was
Nor will they.
re-upped a year ago, right?
Mhm.
So before,
So we have
The full-
about 3 years, I think.
right? Anyway, just curious.
Yeah, and I did see the Christmas tree truck come down my street today. Just pulling the chipper and does it right in, keeps on going. Okay, thank you, Dave. Next up, 2022 annual report, which I always forget about and Dave always reminds me. It's not a big deal. I've got a table set up and I just need to update it. I will send it, once I get it updated, hopefully in the next week, I'll send it out to everybody. Just so you can make sure, number one, your project's on there. Number two, I've got whatever updates we can report this year, and then we'll submit that to the town, and then hopefully, I think we're a year or two behind, John, on posting these on our website. I think the last one on the website is 2020, so we're only a year behind. So that's another thing on my list. And I just wanted to add one other thing. I've been active on the task force for the new zoning ordinance that's being put together for the town right now. And I've seen that our landscape planting guide is mentioned in there fairly prominently in the buffer yard section. And so it's mentioned in there quite a few times, actually, so that the pressure's on to update that. Because now it's actually in our zoning code, well, as soon as it's completed and put into practice, but so we're getting some exposure there.
You
So-
know, we could put in our guide for additional information, please contact a reputable planting center, because the planting centers are the agriculture department does go in and they do work with them and they inspect them. And I don't know if they do that to the
Well, there's
big box stores.
there's other, I'd prefer to give them state, there's DEP, I forget what the other
Penn State.
Penn State, thank you, Master Gardeners, that
Extension.
sort of thing. There are publications we can reference,
That's
and I think we can do that. I was talking to Donna Raddick actually last night, and I'm gonna
that'd be great.
kind of run through her too. Just, I'd like to have her throw out a bunch of plants that she'd like to see on there. I said, I'll look up all of the information on them and complete the chart. And then the other thing we want to do is get into starting to put some invasives on there as well. So, or at least have some links to where you can find for more information.
Ag extension's a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And when I put this thing together initially, there was so much information, it was overwhelming. So now
Well,
I think I've got a better handle on,
Okay.
now that it's, at least it's started, it should be a little easier to expand from here.
And
So,
even the experts don't agree.
no, you're absolutely right.
So,
Are there,
Okay.
these plant guides for other municipalities that we could sort of
Yeah,
put
and
together? copy
when I
paste?
put all this together, I guess 2 years ago, that's the first place I went.
Mhm.
Hampton has one, Franklin Park had one, but everybody's publications are different.
Mhm.
And in the end, I found the best resource, and Donna sent me there, was through the Audubon Society, actually had some great links on, you have invasive plants, well, what's a good native replacement?
Mhm.
And those were very helpful. So I'm going to start pulling a little, now that I think I have a better handle on which way to go with it, we'll start expanding. Something else I noted in the draft zoning ordinance is also language as far as, look at context sensitive plantings. Looking, I'd like to see it with a little bit more detail in it, but we're getting there.
They pruned those red oaks.
Did they?
They cut
So just kind of an update on EAC
So-
stuff showing up in the zoning
the
ordinance.
roadhouse.
So-
They had planted red oaks underneath the utility
Oh,
lines.
all right.
So anybody else have any other topics? for upcoming? I know sustainability is kind of on the table right now while you guys do some work there. Please let me know when that comes back up. And same with you, Dawn, with some of the rain garden stuff and classes for next summer. Just give me a heads up. We want to put those back on the agenda. Next up, we have Jack's town council report. Is there anything?
Well, I spoke about the recycling.
Mhm.
We spoke about trails. Last but not least is I think everybody knows now that Councilwoman Kim Zachary retired. Or she resigned from our town council, and I'd be remiss for not thanking her for creating the EAC. I don't know if Jeff and Matt actually understood that, but she created this creature. And I think it's been a really well-received committee and well-respected committee. And I see a bright future for it. And you can thank Kim for that.
And you had mentioned last month, I know they had talked about doing some sort of recognition for her if she was ever able to come back to a meeting.
Well,
So,
regardless of whether she comes back or not, we are going to recognize her. We're going to have a plaque for her. She was the first town president, female town president. So we thought that would make a nice plaque and thank her for her
okay,
service.
all right. Thanks for the updates, Jack. Next up, public comments. Hi there, Mark, right?
Yeah,
Good to see you again, Mark. It's been a while.
after 3 years.
Do you have any comments for us tonight?
No, I'm fine.
Okay,
I'm fine.
thanks for coming. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I'll be coming back.
All right, great.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, any other items for discussion? If not, we'll.
Oh,
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion that.
Second.
All right, motion out there and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. Thanks. It was great to see everybody. I hope everyone had nice holidays and.
Hey, John, I have a quick question. Are the Christmas trees still out front?
They are not, no.
They've been moved.